In the headlines to the CBC NewsNight, government says more plans are in the works to rebuild the fishing industry after Hurricane Beryl. Local and regional stakeholders urge to support the Bridgetown initiative. And in sports, the Barbados Pride book a semi-final date with rivals Red Force after dropping to fourth in the Super 50 Cup.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening and welcome to this Sunday edition of the CBC NewsNight. I'm Wendy Burke. Government will soon be announcing more plans for the fishing industry, including new vessels and the construction of a breakwater harbour. The announcement from Minister of Environment and National Beautification, Adrian Ford. Anesta Henry reports.
Government says it is moving full steam ahead with efforts to rebuild the Hurricane Beryl-ravaged fishing industry. Minister of Environment and National Beautification, Adrian Ford, have the assurance while addressing the Harbour and Hope Operation Blue Recovery fundraising event held at the Hilton Barbados. Noting he's unable to provide the details at this time, announcements on rebuilding the fishing industry are on the way.
And I will be happy, and I'm going to not let anything out the bag because it is part of a collective decision, something called cabinet. But I want to say in the not too distant future, you'll be hearing about the plans to build forward in terms of the new fishing boats, the plans in terms of the breakwater, and how we're going to ensure that we have the armored stones and those resilient components so that we can have the resistance to the vagaries of natural disasters and the climate change.
Hilton Barbados Resort collaborated with the Barbados Arts Council, Sustainable Caribbean and the Fisheries Division to host a fundraising event aimed at raising $100,000 to assist the fisherfolk community impacted by Hurricane Beryl. While thanking the organizers for their efforts, Mr. Ford is also expressing gratitude to those who have already helped the fisherfolk.
And then there were those cheerful givers who decided that as part of our benevolent fund and our efforts to sustain those fishermen with the interruption benefit, decide to give financial assistance to that fund, persons here locally and overseas.
General Manager of Hilton Barbados Resort, Jack Montiel, says all funds raised through the event will go to the industry.
We are not making a penny out of this event. I want to make sure everybody knows. The Hilton is donating every single aspect of this event. We are not collecting a cent from anybody or from anything. We are donating this because we stand as the forefront hotel of the island, and we will do so as far as I'm the general manager. It is our community, and we will fight for it.
There were cultural performances, auctions, and raffles during the event. Anesta Henry, CBC News.
A regional leader is looking at the revolutionary Bridgetown initiative conceived by Prime Minister Mia Motley as a gateway to revolutionize how his country and other small island developing states access international financing. That's the view of Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit, who is adamant Caribbean countries are not looking for handouts, but rather fair access to the international financial architecture. He was addressing the Dominica Association of Barbados church service at Our Lady Queen of the Universe Church in Blackrock. Dominica's Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit wants local and regional stakeholders to embrace the Bridgetown initiative. He says the call for urgent and decisive action to reform the international financial architecture is not only for Barbados, but also other small island developing states fighting for a voice on the global stage.
So the Bridgetown initiative, I believe, is an important instrument, important policy recommendation that we believe can assist us. And we're not here for we're not begging anybody. All we're saying is let us make the playing field different. Because they suspended the rules for Ukraine, and we're not begrudging Ukraine. They needed the money, great. But why can't you do it for us when we're in similar situations? Because climate change really is a war that has been unleashed on us.
While congratulating the association for celebrating 30 years of existence, which coincides with Dominica's 46th year of independence, Prime Minister Skerrit says the island and Barbados have an exceptional relationship. He says sometime in the 1980s, when Dominica's government could not afford to pay salaries, Barbados's then Prime Minister Tom Adams provided the financial support.
And when we came to government in 2000 and we had to go through a structural adjustment program. The government of Barbados was very helpful as one of the first countries which provided us with a $10 million US loan to assist us in addressing our structural issues.
Minister of People Empowerment and Elder Affairs Kirk Humphrey, who represented Ms. Motley, says Barbados and Dominica continue to work together.
In the 80s, when Barbados was thought to be conservative, and Dominica to a lesser extent, now the most radical voices speaking on these important issues are from Barbados and from Dominica and from the region. And that's an important thing to consider because, as the Prime Minister was saying, when we look at the international financial architecture and the way that it has operated, it was never meant to include Caribbean countries.
Following the service, Mr. Skerritt, Mr. Humphrey, and other dignitaries joined members of the association for lunch and fellowship. The private sector is being asked to invest in programs that empower women. The appeal is coming from Minister in the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Investment, Senator Chad Blackman, who says women continue to play a major role in the economy and society as a whole. Senator Blackman was delivering the featured address at the Women of Excellence King's Daughters Program 10th Anniversary Gala Dinner and Awards Ceremony.
So you can impact our society in a positive way. Do you really believe that if the women of our society have the right tools, you will see so much crime? No. The grandmothers, the mothers, the aunties need to be equipped even more, not just in terms of money, but the ability to nurture. Have you ever seen a hen? Miss Hines, that's you? I thought I was looking at Janelle just now. When you look at a hen, it covers its chicks, notwithstanding the wind, the cars passing. And that's how the women of our society, women take back Barbados, huh? Take it back. It is belonging to you.
Minister Blackman is commending the Women of Excellence program for empowering individuals through teaching, training, mentoring, and empowerment, enabling them to reach their maximum potential in a holistic way. Over the past 10 years, a holistic development 14-week course entitled The King's Daughter has been held. President Minister Andrea Harris says the program's success rests heavily on the shoulders of many faithful ministry partners.
Yes, we have had 11 cohorts, but we are celebrating our 10th year because we were not able to do it last year. It has been a wonderful and a delightful journey. Yes, punctuated with action and drama and thrillers, etc. But no doubt it has been a wonderful journey. We've made many sister girlfriends. We've forged many great relationships that still exist today and have built a very strong sisterhood. For this, we give God thanks and praise.
Coming up, local chefs hoping for more success at this year's Taste of the Caribbean culinary competition. Some of Barbados' culinary geniuses are on a mission to retain their title at this year's Caribbean Hotel and Tourism Association's Taste of the Caribbean culinary competition. With passion, skill, and bold flavors, the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association's Barbados National Culinary Team will go head-to-head with chefs and mixologists from 6 other islands from November 18th to 20th. Senior management of the team will also use the opportunity for further development and to showcase Barbadian cuisine on a bigger stage. Team manager Adrian Cumberbatch says the final week of training ahead of the international competition set the tone for them.
Chef Damien and Rohan and Javon pushed the team into gearing up for the actual competition, like preparing 4 plates, preparing 8 plates with the pastry chef. The bartender has been practicing his concepts with the bartender mixologist coach, Rohan. But we are all ready. We have put in the work and dedication, so it's up to them now, as I mentioned before, just to please the judges. That's the only persons that they have to please right now are the judges.
Meanwhile, Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Ryan Ford, says it is important to continue the education and training, especially in this niche segment of tourism.
Barbados is known as the culinary capital of the Caribbean, and I will stretch it and say that we're going to eventually become culinary capital of the world. And when you look at our team management, you would see a lot of successful faces of people who've started their own businesses or led other major businesses here in Barbados, and they're always known for winning the awards. And the mandate from our office this year is that we wanted them to pass on that experience and that knowledge to some other persons in the industry, because we have so many talented chefs and bartenders in our tourism industry, hence why people love Barbados so much, apart from the people, the beach, the attractions, and the list continues to go on.
The sports package is next.
Good evening with Sports Night. I am Mark Seal. Barbados Pride have dropped to 4th place and will now have to play against top-seeded rivals Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the semi-finals of the CG United Super 50 Cup. Following today's final round-robin games, the Pride ended 4th on 46 points after the Leeward Hurricanes defeated the combined campuses and colleges by 4 wickets. That result put the Hurricanes on 51 points. Today's other game between the West Indies Academy and the Windward Island Volcanoes ended in a no result due to rain. Hosts Trinidad and Tobago Red Force ended the prelims first on 63, second Jamaica Scorpions on 53. Pride will play Red Force in the first semi-final on Wednesday, while Scorpions take on Hurricanes in the second semi on Thursday. Both games are set for 1 p.m. at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy ground, live on MCTV's ESPN channels. And once again, rain forced the abandonment of another BCA final. This time it was the 40-over Shield, which was held at the Layers Cricket Ground today. The 11 a.m. scheduled start was pushed to 1:45 p.m. with a reduction to 23 overs per side. Pickwick had won the toss and sent Basketball into bat. The North Bay side managed to reach 56 for a 2 after 9.4 overs before the rain stopped play around 2:30 p.m. The umpires made the decision to call off play around 3:20 p.m. since the match would not have been possible by the 3:45 cutoff time. BCA officials will now have to set a new date for the replay of the Shield final. Heavy showers also washed out the final day of today's lone match of Series 7 in the BCA Elite Division. At Wardford A, Bayview Hospital were set to resume their first innings on 332 for a 7 against hosts Signia Financial Barbados Youth. That was in reply to the Youth's first innings score of 247. However, no play was possible today, which meant a no result. The other 4 games in Series 7 are set to conclude on November 23rd. Well, we did get some cricket. West Indies Select 11 will resume their first innings on 5 for 1 tomorrow against the touring Bangladesh team in their 2-day warm-up match in Antigua. Batting first, the visitors declared on 253 for 7. Jakar Ali, he made 48. Jim McAllister and Shem Holder took 2 wickets each. Now the first test bowls off on Friday. Switching sports to horse racing, where Sir David Field's Renaissance Frolic, ridden by Ray Williams, was the winner of last evening's featured race at the Garrison Savannah, the John B. Simpson Memorial Classic.
And they're racing, and Renaissance Frolic is the faster of the 2 away from the gate, and he's got just about a length advantage from his opponent Zaid. As they have a mile to go, the pace is pretty pedestrian for this company, but not surprising as they turn down the stretch the first time. Ray Williams and Renaissance Frolic, just the leader from Zaid and Antonio Bishop. After opening quarter 25-1, they have a circuit to go. So Renaissance Frolic, black with red sleeves, continues in front. Zaid paying close attention. That's the one with the blue jacket and striped sleeves as they head towards the 5-furlong marker and go over the crossing. They head down the back stretch at a steady clip, increasing just a little bit. The half mile listed in 48-3 as they head towards the 4-furlong marker. They've got a half mile to go. And Renaissance Frolic has now opened up a length and a half, maybe 2, to Zaid as they go over the hill and head towards their departure point. Just about 3 to run now, and Renaissance Frolic continues uncontested up front. Zaid being asked to get a little bit closer now by Bishop as they approach the quarter pole. They've done 6 and 1/14 flat. Inside the quarter pole, and it is Renaissance Frolic Ray Williams, still statuesque, and he'll turn for home in front by about 3. Zaid now gets left-handed encouragement. Ray Williams now asks Renaissance Frolic to quicken up smartly, and that is exactly what he does. And he continues to open up. He'll lead this one from start to finish. Ray Williams posing for the camera. He wins by about 5.
The Barbados sporting fraternity is in mourning with 2 stalwarts passing away in the last 48 hours. Former Barbados Squash Association President William Monty Cumberbatch died yesterday. The father of national squash players Gavin, Rhett, Bryant, and Kamal, Cumberbatch was also a manager of several national teams, the latest being the 2022 Commonwealth Games Barbados squash squad. Now, following his passing is former national women's hockey player Andrea Nichols, who died this morning. Nichols was considered the matriarch of hockey in Barbados and also of Empire Club. She was also a long-standing PE teacher at Springer Memorial. CBC offers condolences to both the Cumberbatch and Nichols families. That's sports. Weather's next.
Good evening and welcome to the weather news. Well, unstable weather conditions are impacting us here in Barbados as convergence maintained cloudy skies, lots of showers. We're talking about intense showers as well as rain. As a result, there is a flood watch in effect for Barbados. Meanwhile, the winds, they are gusty. They are peaking up to 35 knots here in the island. The maximum temperature today was 28 degrees Celsius, the minimum 24 degrees. At present, the temperature stands at 24 degrees Celsius, the relative humidity 93%, and the winds, they're coming in from the east. We take a look now at our satellite feed, where convergence maintained cloudy to overcast skies. We're talking about intense showers as well as rain here in Barbados. Now, we had up to 53.2 millimeters of rainfall in St. Philip. Meanwhile, the winds are gusty. They're up to 35 knots. The sea's moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. Later on tonight, we are expecting that unstable weather conditions will remain with us. We can expect mostly cloudy skies along with lots of showers, rain, and a medium chance of some isolated thunderstorms. Further south, mostly fair skies prevailed across the Guianas, and over in the Western Caribbean, well, there is a shear line maintaining some showers over there in Puerto Rico. Elsewhere, they had mostly fair skies. That's our first look at the weather. After the break, we'll have the forecast. Welcome back. In the forecast for tomorrow, the sun is expected to rise at 5:58 and will set at 5:29. The first high tide, that's expected at 5:41 in the early morning, and the first low will be at 10:41 a.m. Now, the seas, they are moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. The winds, they're coming in from the southeast to the east-southeast up to 30 kilometers per hour. For us here in Barbados tonight, we can expect that unstable weather conditions will prevail. It will be mostly cloudy along with lots of showers, rain, and a medium chance of some isolated thunderstorms. Over the next 3 days, unstable weather conditions will remain with us. That's Monday into Tuesday. By Wednesday, we are expecting an improvement in weather conditions.
That's our news. Thank you for joining us and continue to enjoy your evening.